What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another pre-market watch list. Sorry if you're looking for scanners today and they're not on our channel. For some reason, my trade ideas software is not populating today. So anyways, today's watch list is also a little bit harder to make because generally what I use to scan for stocks isn't there. So I've had to use some other means of finding stocks this morning, which, by the way, hasn't really gone that well. So I'm going to give you guys kind of the watch list so far, and really it's going to be WKHS because they're reporting earnings this morning, so it might create some extra volatility. And then we'll also be watching TTD. There's a couple other penny stocks and other things that I'll mention that I haven't really felt extremely comfortable with. So again, we'll go over the watch list here and just kind of throw it together and just see what comes up for the day. I can totally see today being a day where I just kind of sit back and try to be as patient as possible. So first stock we'll talk about here is WKHS. As you can see, these little two circles here, the red circle, this blue circle, that means that the company is releasing an earnings report. And occasionally that will lead to some volatility, as you can see here. And believe it or not, which it just happened, you can see, it actually happened like live while I was watching this with you. You can see this yellow trend line. See that yellow trend line? Look at where the stock popped, right? This morning pre-market. That long candle wick, look where it went. Pretty much that red line. So if it hadn't already made the move, I would have mentioned that 1072 could be a potential long target on the day, but we kind of just hit it. So for now, it's more or less watching it pull back before going for another long move. But I figured, the long move for WKHS would be back up to 1070 to 11, possibly even for a gap fill of 1166 today if the earnings announcement is good and the stock trades exceptionally positive. So for a long move, we might watch all the way up into, say, the 1115s. And 1166s, and then once we get towards there, we'd probably be a little bit more bearish for a pullback. Okay, so next stock we'll talk about is TTD. Now the reason I'm mentioning TTD is because they released earnings this morning, went for $712 all the way down to $590. That's pretty crazy. All right, so we're going to be watching this on the long side, or wait, excuse me. We might be watching this on the long side, but that doesn't look like it's ready to bounce just yet. Debatable. So we don't want to be extremely short biased TTD just yet, I don't think. But it's not in a dip buy. Or are we going to drag out to wait, what are we at? We're at 550-ish, 590, where are we? We're at 586. The long for me would be off of 500. So for now, I'm going to watch for just maybe a little bounce back, but I think we will stay bearish on TTD today, maybe looking for a target as low as 500. That might be pretty hard to do, though. But that's really the next kind of target on the downside that I like as a support. So unless this bottom of 558 or these bottoms here at like the 590s, well, we already passed that. So yeah, unless this bottom at 555 holds, then I would look for a move down to 500. So for now, we'll stay on the bearish side of TTD, looking for continuation. But don't be surprised if you see this bounce back somewhere into trend before trying to move lower. But either way, volatility is extremely high here on TTD, so we're going to be keeping a close eye on that. So next stock we'll take a look at is ALF. Give me just 1 second. So ALF was a stock that started moving Friday, went overnight, and over the weekend into this morning. Hasn't been able to get through 525, which is a 4-hour resistance mark. You can see we kind of hit, well, it's kind of changed a bit now, but you can see this yellow trend line is like right up there. So we kind of hit a resistance, haven't been able to break out yet. So ideally, if this is going to move higher in the day, turn into anything better, then we would look for a move through the pre-market high of 507 to like the 515 area. And that's really kind of where the price has resistance. So that's more or less the breakout price for the time being. Now, again, it's a recently new stock, right? You can see it's only IPO'd last week. So we went through a big move, pulled back, retraced all the way. So that's a good sign. I'm thinking if this is really going to move, after a pullback, we pull down to 447, 450. So I think market may shoot down to about here before trying to do some sort of bounce move. So I'm anticipating ALF more or less bearish down to about 445, 436, and then seeing it try to bounce. But again, I didn't know what to make of this one because it's a recent IPO, so I wasn't extremely comfortable with it. Now there's another one here, CFMS, but this is a very, very high float for a penny stock, so it's probably not going to move that great. You have PTE, which is also another really, really high float stock, high float penny stock, which means it's probably not going to move that great. AMC had earnings, but I believe AMC is kind of in resistance right now. We're actually going to see this pull back out of the gate, so I don't really know what to make of that. So today, it's just the market doesn't seem all that crazy. But before I go, I will mention AMC a little bit more in detail here. See how this chart is set up on the 4-hour time frame? See, it says 4-hour, this white trend line. Look at where the price of AMC is so far stopped this morning, right? So we stopped here at the price of $9.92. We actually stopped at, $9.97, but you can see where that 4-hour resistance trend is coming into play, and you'll see exactly where the stock has started to stop pre-market, right in that zone. So even though the market's up on AMC and it might look a little bullish, they just had earnings, theoretically, we have kind of gapped up into a potential resistance zone. So won't be surprised if AMC sells down a little bit to start this day. So really, that's the watch list. Mainly going to watch WKHS TTD for right now until something happens, until the market makes some moves. That's really all we're going to watch. So hope you guys liked the video. Hope you learned something new. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.